everyone, welcome to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to get right back into the abundance and career outlooks. Now, I had intended this series to actually be for singles as an answer to the poll that I had on my community page, where I asked, my collective what they wanted to see, what the singles wanted to see, because quite a lot of people have been saying they wanted videos geared towards singles. As I begin to shuffle the Animal Oracle deck, I'm going to just tell you a bit about what I'm thinking here. Is that it's just simply that I'm not labeling it a singles video. And the reason why is because I think a career and abundance nowadays for a lot of us, it is very personal. It's a personal path for many of us, whether we're with someone or not. You know, gone are the days of the 50s and the 60s, you know, where everything was decided, certainly careers or businesses were decided sort of by roles that we played, and certainly if we were married or in a relationship, that impacted a lot. But nowadays, things are different. And I think that these readings could apply to everyone. So in that way, you'll see the Aries video was labeled singles, but I am now just, labeling it for the sign. And today we're going to start off with Taurus, right? This next 3 videos that I release will be the earth signs. Okay, guys, this is going to be for March. And the first thing I'm going to do is pull out 2 animal spirits for my lovely Taurus, just to see what kind of animal spirits you have working with you this month in this area of your life for March. You have the horse, incredible, beautiful, beautiful earth spirit. When we're talking about career and abundance, this is certainly, and of course there goes the siren and the black egg. Wow, Taurus. Whew, 2 very, very strong animal spirits this month for your career and abundance outlook. All right, I'm going to get into, let me pull out the cards first. I'm going to pull out the cards before I get into the animal spirits. And I am now using, for this series, I'm using my new Cosmic Tarot deck, which I do have an unboxing for on my channel. I went through the deck fairly quickly in my unboxing because, quite frankly, people just want to see the card and then on to the next card. But I may do a more in-depth look if I get comments on that, right? Where we will actually go through every single card in terms of symbols and really describe the card. I just did a fairly quick unboxing for this just to show it to you. And this one is, of course, made by the A.G. Müller company in Germany, which some of you may or may not know. I am half German. I'm from Munich. Guten Tag zu meinen Damen und Herren in Deutschland. Yeah, I guess I'm a little bit biased, but this is the best tarot card production company that I've ever seen. They're the same company that I got my Thoth deck from over, now I'm going to say 30 years ago, nearly 30 years ago, and you can see the condition. Beautiful, right? So, and I'm so excited about this deck. So, let's get right into pulling out your cards. Just chatting with you guys a little bit today while I'm reading. All right, let's get into it. The Emperor at the center for you, Taurus, covered by the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords. We have at the bottom the 9 of Pentacles. Nice. Very, very nice. We have the 6 of Wands and we have the 4 of Wands. Oh, man, this is a good reading, Taurus. 10 of Wands for you at the bottom of the deck. Look at these cards. I just love the imagery on these cards. The creator of this deck is also German. And it's, some of you may or may not know that Germany has a very long traditional history with tarot decks and tarot deck readings going back hundreds of years. So, oh, wow. What an incredible outlay of cards for you, Taurus. And might I just say, for those in my collective, you've been watching my readings. If you are a subscriber on my channel, you know that Taurus has been just shining and shining and shining and rising as far as career and abundance is concerned this year for 2020. Now let's get right into the animal spirits before we go into your spread. These are 2 Incredible animal spirits for you to have this month, March, Taurus. The horse, first of all, is an earth spirit, and it has the highest level. This animal spirit is associated with the highest level of mastery when it comes to the earth, when it comes to the energy of the earth, right? This is your sign, Taurus. You are an earth sign, and so here you pull the spirit of the animal that represents the highest in mastery of those qualities, right? Stability, momentum, freedom, the stability. There's nothing that the horse cannot accomplish. The horse has such complete mastery of the material world, and the material world is the world that we associate with business and career. And let me remind you of this also, that the material world is also when we talk about these elements, they're, a lot of us look at them from the perspective of astrology, right? There's also the metaphysical perspective, right? And we call them planes. And on the earth plane, this is the plane also associated with the body, taking care of the body. It's the plane that's associated with taking care of your health, having children, bringing children into this world. This is all associated with the physical, right? Physical senses, right? Connecting your physical senses to a higher spiritual awareness. This is why we see the crescent moon on the third eye of the horse, because our physical senses are also part of the material world. And so I say this because a lot of times in readings, people only associate, the pentacle cards or when we talk about, the earthy cards, which pentacles are earth, they only think about it in terms of money, right? Just money, physical money coming in, or physical blessings coming in some way, gain, right? But that's not the only thing that's associated with the earthly world. We have a sense of freedom as well, the ability to navigate very difficult terrain. And now when we talk about business or career, and we have that kind of spirit, this is the ability to overcome anything in that area, right? Any kind of problems, any kind of, difficulties, if you have to build something, if you have to figure out a way, if you are trying to build a business and you have to figure out a new way to perhaps, advertise, or if you're having to figure out something about your location or your money flow, or if you have to think about your customers, how to go forward with that, anything like that, these are all still associated with the material world, because there are problems and obstacles that we may have to get over. And though there is also aspects, of course, of the mental and the emotional and the spiritual, there are also, these difficulties with the spirit of the horse there are absolutely not going to stop you, right? And I myself am a Sagittarius, and I have a Taurus rising. I feel very passionate about it, that you will get the spirit of the horse, because it's such a strong spirit for you, Taurus. And then you have the black egg. The black egg is associated with the ether spirits, right? And this is why I love this deck as well, the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck, because they also take into the account the fifth element. And in alchemy, we talk about 5 elements, not just 4. And the fifth element is indeed spirit, or sometimes called ether. And the black egg is associated with the throat chakra, which is the 5th chakra. And within the black egg resides the absolute truth, right? And so the black egg is all about finding your voice and being able to communicate, and only ever wanting to communicate the truth and nothing but the truth. Only ever wanting to have the truth communicated back to you. This is a real strong, ultimate sort of intention, because it's a chakra. So here we're talking about not even engaging in gossip or white lies or hiding your feelings or pretending to say, saying things about feelings that aren't true. This is absolute honesty, and that's why we talk about the throat chakra. We want that chakra always to be open and connected to our heart, because through this honesty, we accomplish things, right? Through this honesty, we are able to go through life in a very real way and in a very true way. And so the black egg talks about in all things being honest with yourself. And this is an excellent, excellent energy to have when we're talking about career and abundance. Because of course you have to be able to be honest with yourself about everything. If something's not working, you have to say, look, that's not working. I guess I got to change it. I know it was my idea, right? But a lot of times people are, one of the biggest reasons why people are unable to fix their, fix problems, right? Fix problems in their businesses or in their careers, because a lot of times those problems come from a decision that they've made. And they don't like the idea of having to admit that a decision that they've made, a choice that they've made, was incorrect. And this little wrestle with the ego is an inability to be honest with ourselves, right? And a lot of times, people get that confused with the intuitional voice as well, right? But nevertheless, this is what the black egg talks about. And then you have it coupled with the spirit of the horse. So March, of course, right away with regard to spirit animals, is going to be phenomenal for you, Taurus, if you're resonating with this reading. Let's get right into your spread. We have the Emperor covered with the King of Swords. More honesty, right? The King of Swords. Swords are all about communication, insight, clarity, right? Insisting on having clarity, insisting on having truth, and being honest with yourself. If there is a card that is synonymous with the black egg, it would be, in terms of attitude, if there's and we're talking about court cards, it would be the King of Swords. And then you have the Emperor. So it's interesting, Taurus, that you would have two such strong masculine energies at the center of your reading. I'm going to say this is definitely for a Taurus who is at a leadership position in their career or their business. So this is either you running your own business, having started a new business, or this is you running your own company, or this may be you being this the senior manager at a firm, or being the project manager or the leader in some kind of way. Right? And so the Emperor absolutely talks about, first of all, the Emperor is, it is the card for Aries, but that's neither here nor there. You may indeed have some Aries energy in your chart, but that doesn't really matter. We're talking more about tarot energies here. And please do remember, a lot of times people put way too much emphasis on the connection between astrology and signs and the tarot. I do the tarot readings by sign because it's a way for me to be able to tap into a portion of my collective. So I can tap into this is a reading for Taurus. When I meditate on the tarot, I'm able to sort of, try to tap into that energy of Taurus and reach out to people who have that Taurian energy in their chart. And that's kind of where it ends as far as the tarot is concerned. Then we get into what the message is. And the message really generally doesn't necessarily indicate per se that you're dealing with any particular sign, just that those sort of essences and energies are there. And so you have the Emperor here, and yes, it is the card for Aries, but in this particular instance, Taurus, it is talking about you being an innovator, being at the top, wanting to stabilize your career and your business in a very strong way. This will absolutely be happening for you this March. If you had doubts about your business, if there were times or your career recently where you were feeling sort of unsure, just listen to the truth that is coming in, because right now you have strong, you have the Queen of Swords. I'm going to get into that. You have strong swords energy, and you have the black egg. So we're talking about being extremely honest with yourself in March. Make sure that you make your decisions this month in a very honest way. Right? If you know that there's something not working right with your career or your business, then figure it out and do it in a way that you're being honest. If part of it means that you have to say, well, hang on a second, maybe a decision I made before was wrong, maybe I need to change that or adjust it, right? Then be honest enough with yourself to know that, because this is what's going to bring in the accomplishment of your goal. You're going to accomplish everything that you desire, because remember, the Emperor also has a vision. And his vision is huge. And we're talking about the divine masculine here showing up for you. And the Emperor's vision in terms of what territory he wants to conquer is vast. So this is definitely someone, a Taurus, who is highly ambitious and has a forward plan for themselves, right? You have Queen of Swords and Nine of Pentacles. And the Queen of Swords is, again, someone who puts... doesn't that look like Isabella Rossellini? Honestly, for those of you who know, she really does look to me like Isabella Rossellini. You have to let me know in the comments. For those of you of a certain age who would know who I'm talking about, this beautiful woman here looks to me exactly like she was figured on Isabella Rossellini. All right, Queen of Swords, she is the one who puts all her emotions into her work and her communication, right? In the sense that she is extremely honest with her feelings, right? She's not going to pretend that, she's not going to pretend that she likes something that she doesn't, right? She's not going to pretend to be a certain type of person that she isn't. As honest as she is, I would say the Queen of Swords probably represents the connection between the black egg and the heart chakra, because with the Queen of Swords, not only does she speak absolute truth, but she speaks absolute truth in terms of how she feels, who she is, what her identity is, right? She's very honest about her identity. So her communication and her decisions are all going to be very much like aligned to who she is, right? She's not going to compromise herself or her values, right, in any kind of way, right? And it's excellent energy to have, This will be associated. So when we're talking about career and business, this means that Taurus, you are certainly in March. This is a focus for you in terms of really expressing who you are. So say, for instance, if you are if you're in a creative field, right? Then this Queen of Swords will represent you perhaps this month in March, really being adamant about about creating the work that represents you. Like, you're just unwilling to compromise on that. For instance, somebody wanted you, if you're a creative person, you're an architect, and you had somebody come to your firm and they want you to create a plan that goes against your ideals in some way. And that can absolutely happen. Even in a field like architecture, whatever, sometimes things, people can ask you to do things that kind of go against either your ideals or goes against your sort of creative identity, and you say, well, look, I just can't, that's just not who I am. Maybe you need to hire somebody else. And that's the type of thing that the Queen of Swords would do. Right? So when I bring it down to an everyday example for you guys, that's what I'm talking about in terms of not at all compromising yourselves. And for some of you, that's going to be key this month. You're going to be focusing in on that. If you have run your own business, an example could also be, having a certain brand, right? We talk about a brand, but really sort of being emotionally invested in your brand, right? Making sure that that brand represents who you are and your ideas about, how you want to represent yourself to the world. You're going to be very honest about that. And so it could be that maybe if you're having difficulties in your business because you haven't been really expressing yourself as much as you want to, then this month is going to be a month where that's going to be your focus, sort of, realigning things so that they truly represent who you are, And chances are, if you are having any difficulties in March, it will be about you not being quite as honest, or not being quite or not being able, right, to express yourself fully by whatever obstacles or limitations you have. And again, if we go to the example of like a company, if you're working in a company where the working environment is stifling your ability to really sort of create, I want to say, communicate who you truly are, really put yourself into your work, then that's going to be an issue for you this month, and you're going to be dealing with that. And I think obviously the way to deal with that is to express yourself. We're talking about, saying, look, I can't work like this, or perhaps we can change it, or, I don't feel right about this, or what have you. Okay. So this is a really strong month of taking charge. I want to say in a lot of ways of the direction of whatever your career or business is going, and just ensuring that that direction is going where you truly want it to be, and that you can, it's a very identifying process. You have 9 of Pentacles, and rewards, right? I mean, in the back of your mind, you are thinking, certainly, this is your conscious and unconscious position. So it's really like, where you're the front of your mind, where you're constantly focused on, and things that are sort of murmuring in the back of your mind. In the back of your mind, there's a 9 of Pentacles, and there's this energy there, and you're starting to feel like the rewards are coming in, certainly, right? It could be that you've been working quite hard, and only now some of the real wealth is beginning to come in. But it is also a feeling of really wanting to be independent. Right, and I think that this is why this is the card that's come up in this position, because yes, the rewards come in, and naturally that is part of success, and the Emperor absolutely represents success as well, by the way. 9 of Pentacles also is this feeling of wanting to be on your own, wanting to be independent, and it really speaks to sort of, again, and this is what I've been finding, that a lot of these readings have really ended up talking about people certainly being a forecast for a person who is not necessarily that interested in being in a deep, heavy relationship right now, or certainly not the type of relationship that is impacting your freedom to do what you need to do with your business or your career. Right? So it's not like you want to be a loner. I doubt this woman is a loner. I'm sure she's enjoying dates and times out, but it's like she's ultimately the one in charge, right? She's ultimately the one who is like, she puts, she's going to keep you at a little bit of a distance, because she really requires to keep most of her energy for herself right now. Remember the 9s, all of the 9s in a suit always have an essence of the Hermit in them. And the Hermit talks about putting your own path first right now, and not really allowing relationships and connections with other people interfere with your path right now. The path you're taking right now is by necessity, and certainly by your wish and will, a generally independent path, a solitary path to a certain degree. And that's really what you're thinking about in the back of your mind. And I think it's a feeling, I do feel like it's what you desire. I don't feel like it's something that you are missing, or sort of, I don't feel a negative energy associated with this. I feel like this is what you want for right now. Right? Because you're just so driven on accomplishing this vision that you have. 6 of Wands and 4 of Wands. So 6 of Wands is beautiful, right? It's a victory. 6 of Wands is the card for victorious, right? You've got Jupiter energy there. I'm pretty sure this is Jupiter and Leo energy, 6 of Wands, which is, when you think about it, it's great luck and blessings coming in to a sign that generally is at the center, right, of things, in the spotlight. The one thing about 6 of Wands is that it can oftentimes be a very public victory. So you can see there that the person is sort of like, he's a dancer, and he's under the sun, the full light of the sun. It just indicates to you that, not only do you have a victory, but everybody is seeing it around you. So for some of you, you're coming into March already early on, because this is the energy. The positions here is these are timing positions. This is the energy you're coming into the month with, and this is the energy that you're kind of coming out of the month with, right? And coming in, so I say for some of you, this is probably going to be right at the beginning of March, or it may have happened just before March. Some of you at work may be getting noticed for your work. You may get that promotion. It's going to feel like a victory to you, right? In business as well, for some of you, for your business, you're going to, you're going to have blessings and rewards coming in. You're going to hit those numbers that you wanted to hit, and that feels like a success. Whatever the victory is for you, it's coming in, and it's a public one. And so, like I said, for a lot of you, this is going to be, and again, anybody who has the Emperor at the center of their reading, you have, whatever your career or business is, I'm going to say is, it's something surely that's innovative and so grand to a certain degree that it by necessity is going to involve some public attention. So whether it's attention in your field, right, or whether it's attention because what you're doing is quite public, or whether it's attention for your creative abilities, there is a feeling here. And then that it involves people and people knowing you. Same thing if you have your own business, Taurus. This reading is for somebody's running their business, and of course, business people know about your. You may have a couple of shops, right? Or you may be beginning to open up your second store. People know your store. People know your business. You know what I'm saying? So this is the kind of careers and businesses I'm talking about here with Taurus. And of course, you have the Four of Wands, which is quite interesting because seeing as down here, there's this feeling in the back of your mind of independence. Four of Wands can indicate a new love connection, right? It is the 1111 card. So it is Venus in Aries energy. And it can indicate that out of all of this, there's still somehow, by the end of the month, some kind of new connection with someone, certainly in love, right? And here we have an abundance and career reading, and there's really no doubt about it. It could be that the reason why this is coming up is that this connection may happen through your job or your business, right? So it's something, certainly I'm going to tell you, this is for a Taurus who's absolutely not looking for a connection, who's not busy with a connection, but never, and by the way, this love connection may not necessarily even change your independent status right now. Taurus is the type of sign that can absolutely be in love with someone and still remain quite independent, and not necessarily be like, oh, okay, now we're together, let's move in and get married and all that. Like, Taurus is cool, like loving somebody and just having, some Taurus is certainly loving someone and still, keeping them at that, in that place, right? Because right now they're just trying to achieve so much in their lives, right? So that doesn't necessarily mean that you change your position here with the Nine of Pentacles, but it does come in for you. I'm going to pull some Thoth cards just to complete this reading. You do have a Ten of Swords over here at the bottom of the deck, so that is definitely marking the end of a period where you've been having to have a lot of doubts, and you've had to really struggle with whether or not you're going to be successful, or whether or not, the Ten of Swords is like, before this closure, the ending of that period, a lot of times you were probably knocked down. You probably if you're a business person, you probably had a few failed businesses that you had to recover from, or in a career position, you may have had periods where you've had a setback in your career, and you've had to sort of, get yourself back. This is what Ten of Swords talks about. It talks about the end of a period of suffering in terms of, having blows to your ego, right? Because sword suit is all about the ego, the mind, communication, and all of that. So Ten of Swords, we're talking about the end of that, and that's a good aspect too with this reading for career and abundance, because it indicates that you're going to be leveling up. And my regulars know what I'm talking about. When we level up, it's like our baseline changes, and we don't ever have to, we don't ever really fall all the way back down to times past where we were really, where we really had to get back up from the ground. It was ground zero. There's a certain amount of success and achievement this Taurus has achieved that is going to keep you from having to hit rock bottom if you lose a business or something. It can indicate that, you have a certain amount of money that's now automatically coming in, or it could be that just you have a certain amount of success that the ball is rolling. You know what I mean? And in this way, you level up as well. All right, guys, the Ace of Discs. Wow. And there's the Emperor again. Beautiful. We have 5 of discs here, and to confirm, we have the 8 of Wands there. Wow, some of you is, okay, now I get it. 6 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So, pleasurable relationships this month happening as well. Pleasure. 6 of Cups is, in the Thoth deck, we look at 6 of Cups being pleasure. In the traditional deck, it's the card with the 2 children who are, the one young one is handing, it seems to be like a young boy is handing an even younger little girl some flowers, and it's very sweet. And a lot of times people look at that as the soulmate card, but it also indicates relationships that are just pleasurable. They're just pleasant. You make you happy, right? All right, guys, so let's just clarify these. We'll call this a reading. Look at this, Queen of Swords, Ace of Discs. Absolutely a huge sort of boon coming in. Ace of Discs can indicate just a lot of times it is the beginning of a new sort of opportunity for wealth and abundance, right? But sometimes it can just indicate wealth coming in, success coming in, the potential for an extreme amount of sort of rewards as a result of working for them, right? And so Queen of Swords, again, this month, being honest with yourself and being true to yourself is, for those of you who are feeling, maybe you're in a lull, if you're a creative person, you might have been in a little bit of a lull, right? You may have been doubting yourself for a little while, right? And it may have been affecting your coin or your money that you're making from whatever it is you're doing creatively. Because, by the way, this reading is also for somebody who makes money from their creative talents, right? This month, being true to yourself is going to be the key for you increasing your revenue again, increasing your financial stability and increasing the abundance that's coming in. Same thing for business. If your business has been faltering, the time, you look at how you've been running it. Have you really been is the brand really who you are, or is the brand who you think people, what you think people will like, and then it's not working? Remember, be true to yourself in everything that you do. Same thing for your career. Right? If you're in a position where you're working for a company or something like that, you have a career like that, again, being very honest with yourself is going to be the key to either getting that promotion or keeping on that project or getting new projects or whatever the case may be for you. You have the Emperor coming in to confirm, again, 9 of Pentacles. So this strong energy, this is the reason why you have a 9 of Pentacles, is because the vision that you have. And I think this is what I was talking about. In the center of your reading is the Emperor. And the Emperor, just, you can see there, he has such vision. He's looking out into the world to see, and his vision is looking so far because he's looking to, the limits of what he wants to achieve. He wants to acquire all the land that his eye can see. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean. His vision is so great in that way. And this is why you have this 9 of Pentacles energy right now, because it is so important to you. It's so important. Sorry, I took a sip of coffee. It's so important to you. It is so much like what you are on the path to right now. That it does necessitate necessarily maybe being a little bit alienated from others. That can also be 9 of Pentacles sometimes. Nevertheless, 9 of Pentacles is, again, also abundance coming in, and abundance as a result of hard work. Right? Here we have abundance coming in as a result of the right decisions. But here we have, the 8 of Pentacles is hard work and it's discipline. And so, this can also indicate, that your vision requires a lot of hard work to bring that money in that you need to manifest it. 5 of Pentacles is is covering your Six of Wands, right? And so Five of Pentacles is that worry about, is it going to all fall apart? Five of Pentacles sometimes can be a power shift and a struggle that you have with somebody. You find yourself sort of worse off. You find yourself sort of having to pick up the pieces. And I think that this is the victory. Some of you may have indeed had to pick yourself up over the last several years, even maybe, or a year, right? Something may have happened in a previous business or a previous job where you may have lost a job or something like that. And there was a divide, there was a falling out, and you were really sort of just left in a position where you were worried, whether or not worried and anxious, are you ever going to be able to get back to where you were? And this is your victory this month. So for those of you, it's interesting, it's the only dark kind of card in the whole spread, if you've noticed, and you have a victory over it, right, this month. And I think that it is just feels so good, right? It feels so much like, you're free from that feeling, right? This may have even been years of having to sort of really struggle, right? And the victory is that feeling that you don't have to do that anymore. And I say that because the spirit of the horse is there talking about that freedom, right? And that's why it's such a strong freedom. And the horse comes in to carry us over very long, difficult terrain that takes years to come out of. And I wonder, for some of you, Taurus, this is a strong victory coming in this month. And like I say, you're leveling up to a position now where you never have to go back down to where you were before. But it took a lot of hard work. And it took a long time. And another reason why I feel the 9 is here too, because that 8 of Pentacles that came before you ascended to the 9 was also a long period of having to sort of do without to achieve your goals. Very nice, Taurus. You should be extremely proud of yourself if you're resonating with this reading. 4 of Wands and the 8 of Wands. Well, there you go. I think that for some of you, this 4 of Wands is coming out of your career or business, this new love connection. Why? Because right now, 8 of Wands, by the end of March, you're going to be having so much attention on you. There's going to be so much. Sometimes the 8 of Wands, right here is my card for going viral. A lot of times it can also be just a lot of information coming in, and certainly 8 is the number for boundaries and strength. And so in general, we talk about with 8 of Wands, having that strength to put boundaries in place with people so that you're not overwhelmed with, everybody in your face. Sometimes it can indicate a relationship that's overwhelming and the messages you're getting mixed messages. And again, there's boundaries that need to be set. In this case, when we look at an abundance reading, a lot of times 8 of Wands can indicate sort of going viral or exploding, or suddenly, everything, there's a lot, suddenly the phone's ringing, you're really busy, all the emails are coming in. It can indicate also sort of a resonating up of a business too, where suddenly the business takes off, right? It can, and sometimes it feels as well like there's a lot of attention on you all of a sudden, right? It can be, 8 of Wands can also sometimes be, just fame starting to come in. So a lot of people starting to see you, starting to know you. And so again, that can be the source of so much coming in. In any case, boundaries need to be set whenever this happens, whatever the case may be, right? Boundaries need to be set. Even if you're going viral, it's like you have to now take care of certain things, right? If you're online and you're doing something online and goes viral, you still have to keep up with everything, There's still a level of business where you have to sort of now keep up with the level of flow, and that requires discipline, because boundaries and restrictions are the same thing as discipline. You just have to be disciplined about what your next steps are, right? In any case, all of this added attention, I think, for you, Taurus, it's somewhere, because there's so much going on around you, all of a sudden there's a love interest that comes out of it. Because it's almost, it's like most of it, a lot of people, it takes a long time to find a love interest, because it's like, it's not like you're sitting on a corner and there's a line of 20,000 people going in front of you, and you know what I mean, and everybody, you get a look at everybody. It's like you only run into so many people, you only have contact with so many people, right? in a day or a week or whatever, right? So it's like connecting with somebody, it means you have to meet the right person at the right time. So there's a lot of timing involved, right? A lot of times when you're in a business, and I see this happen a lot with people in career and abundance in my readings, it happens a lot that whenever your business increases, you increase the amount of people that you are interacting with. You increase the amount of people that you see or that see you or that you have to talk to, because it's just, you know, abundance comes in, it increases everything. And so a lot of times what ends up happening, a love interest is found there because the timing is much quicker. The timing is much more expansive. So this is your reading, Taurus. What can I say? You know, it's an incredible reading for March. These abundance and career readings I do are a little bit longer than usual because it's a new series. And abundance in career, you know, it's quite important in terms of a monthly outlook. There's going to be a lot of energies to look at. When you have such an incredible reading like this, Taurus, what can I say? In any case, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. Leave me comments on this video. I'm thinking about giving away this deck for March, the Cosmic Tarot deck. So let me know what you think about that. But for right now, Taurus, what can I say? I'm just going to wish you an incredible month in March. All the blessings and rewards. Remember to stay honest. Remember the spirit of the horse is there supporting you. And there's really not anything that you can't achieve. Okay, guys, I love you so much. And I'll see you next month for your abundance career outlook. Bye-bye now.